The sounds of nature hit the air as a medium-sized infant comes out of hiding. The Geortharoc. A large and friendly lizard-like creature. It rests for millions of years before coming out to protect nature. This Geortharoc is the opposite of friendly. They've had a traumatizing childhood. So, they will act different. Instead of protecting nature and small creatures, they will attack anything that comes too close to their waterfall. They crouch down to drink some water, looking left to right for any predators. They let out a deafening screech, angered by the chirping of kiwins and other bird-like creatures. They decide to take a nap, but they again look for any predators. This Geortharoc is scarred for life. It was an encounter of a family of hygos when his parents left. He almost got killed and got a scar on his side, but it was covered with greenery over time. Geortharoc can be in groups of 4 to 5, or they can live alone their whole lives. Later that afternoon, a small creature has come to take a sip of the small amount of water on his side. The Geortharoc is angered by this and charges without hesitation. He startles the creature to the point where he freezes in fear, giving him a chance to attack and slash at the baby creature. A roar escapes the Geortharoc's maw as he slashed into the creature. The creature snaps back to reality and flies away quickly before he could do some real damage to him. He was vulnerable in this situation, so he accepted defeat and flew back to the tundra region where he came from. Geortharoc have strong tails to break bones. They have large hind legs to grip onto the ground. And long arms, with claws to rip and shred other creatures. Geortharoc are usually found in redwoods, jungle, and pride rocks biomes, making them very unlikely to see. The Geortharoc trots into the tundra in hopes of finding his target. But first, he lets out an angered screech. A few years later, the creature finds the Geortharoc and decides to drink, which was a grave mistake, possibly leading to death. The creature has a scar on his wings, so he can only fly for certain amounts of time before landing. The Geortharoc easily recognizes the creature and gets up, very angered at the sight of his old enemy. He lets out a deafening screech of anger that echoed across the tundra. He slashed at the creature with his new, sharper claws. The small fairy-like creature bites his foot at an alarming rate, but it is only injuring him because of his hard, rocky-like scales. He broke most of his teeth. He falls down and plays dead. The Geortharoc believes this, death, and roars in victory, walking away from the body in confidence. The Geortharoc leaves to get a sip of water to restore his waterfall. Then he decides to take a nap for a long period of time. These herbivores can rest up to average of 5 days. A frog has come to take shelter underneath the rocky-like lizard. But instead this backfired very badly, as this Geortharoc does not like to be reckoned with. He decides to crush the frog-like creature under his foot. This would be very easy because of his weight. Fortunately, he only stomped on his leg. So he slipped from under and ran quickly into the river that divides redwoods and swamp. The Geortharoc let out a screech of annoyance. But this has awoken a certain someone. Just then, the small healer takes a rock out of his body. They continue this again and again and again, for almost an hour, until his shredded wings stopped working and they fell to the ground to face the rocky creature. Face to face, final standoff. Life or death. The Geortharoc, enraged, charges and picks them up, slashing at them continuously until they fall to the ground lifelessly. They are finally dead. For good. The Geortharoc lets out a long, loud, ear-piercing screech of victory. He picks up the carcass and walks away. The frog looks at it hungrily, so the Geortharoc drops it in front of them and leaves. They eat it, and the Geortharoc goes asleep for a few million years.